everybody, this is Jake Adams from reefbuilders.com. I am so excited today to show you a reef tank that I've been working on for about 3 or 4 years. This is my brother's reef tank. This is my reef tank at my brother's house. So I'm outsourcing some of the real estate involved with an aquarium like this. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of the tank and tell you how this aquarium is different from one that you might have at home and keep on a day-to-day basis. This is kind of what I consider my satellite aquarium. So I visit this tank about once a week, every 2 weeks. Sometimes I might not see it for a month. But this tank has been a really real pleasure, especially with my current set of aquarium gear that I have on it. So follow along as I show you the display and some of the products that are responsible for making this tank a success.
So here's a look at the equipment. This tank used to run with a controller where every little feature and parameter was controlled and monitored, and over time I've really kind of ditched that philosophy to try to go towards just fewer, smarter, independent devices that can really help me dial in this aquarium without having to navigate so many different menus and sub-menus just to get to the product that I'm working for. So one thing I really love, is being able to just simply turn pumps off. And since everything is on the Reef link, the Radion and the Vectra and the Vortec pump all work together, so when you press the feed mode button, both pumps go into feed mode at the same time, and that's a really cool feature that people aren't super aware of. So really cool. And I could have hidden all these different little controller modules, but I decided to put them into view because that way you see the status indicator lights on them, and at a glance you know easily what is going on with this reef tank. So I'm going to turn this back on. Oh wait, gotta hold it like that. There we go. So now everything's back up and running, and you can see here's the reef tank itself. And I'll get to that here in a little bit, but I do want to show you the very simple sump. When people underneath the tank, you'll find what is the epitome of a bare bones sump. We've just got a very basic glass box here. The water flows down from the drain into a filter sock. There's nothing else here in the bottom except for the Toonsy controllable protein skimmer. As you can see, this thing is rocking pretty good. It got cleaned a couple days ago, so that's why there's not that much skimmate. And then, there's really nothing else in here. This is where the heater's at. We got a Vectra M1, a Vectra M1 pump feeding back up to the tank. And one of the reasons I was okay going with a bigger pump for the return is since I was able to calibrate it. Basically I'm running an oversized pump at a really low speed, which makes it incredibly quiet. So that's one of the reasons for that. So here's a look at the tank itself. As you'll see, this is a basic kind of a community style reef tank. And one of the things that really helps with the success of this aquarium is having smart devices that can be programmed to do smart and creative functions. And so one thing that you'll notice is that there's very little water flow in the tank itself. So during the day, in order to encourage maximum polyp expansion, I have the flow reduced to virtually nil. However, in the nighttime is when the Vortec pump and the Vectra pump will actually run a little bit faster to help flush out any uneaten food and the slime and detritus. But so during the day, you end up with a very serene, very calm environment. And despite the serious lack of flow, and I know it's weird because I'm kind of the flow master known for that, it just gives a really different feel. Instead of a very agitated reef tank, everything is really calm. And this is by far just one of the most interesting reef tanks that I've ever set up, because it's got such a diversity of corals, from the Gorgonian here with a cluster of real nice Rhodactis in the middle, a patch of green start polyp. We've got some flower anemones tucked in here and there and everywhere. A really old Duncan colony right here, and this is a strain of branching green hammer coral that I've had forever. The other thing that helps out this reef tank is there's only 4 fish. We've got a yellow tang for some minor grazing, a couple token clownfish. We got, I don't know, maybe a Wyoming white there, and then kind of a black snowflake, and then just one little azure blue damsel right there. Very cool. And the lack of sand really helps to prevent any kind of detritus buildup or any nutrient buildup. And you'll see I've got this huge army of Astorino starfish. They are kind of the dedicated token cleanup crew for this aquarium. I just wiped them off the glass, but this huge population of Astorinas really helps to keep the tank clean. I siphon out a bunch of them every time I do a water change. So in effect, they're a form of nutrient export as well. So let's take a look from the top down, shall we? So with the flow greatly reduced, you can see that we've got a pretty interesting aquascape, kind of an X going across the tank right here, and just a Radion Gen 3 Pro that really evenly distributes the light throughout this tank. Really considered put a Gen 4 Pro in here with the new HEI lenses, but this light is performing so well, and I've got it dialed down pretty hard, so there's no need to change it up. And then I've got some of my own miscellaneous corals here on a frag rack until I get a photosynthetic reef tank set up at home. Some really interesting double colored Hydnophora from Jason Fox. Got crazy, what is this? It's Joker face Palisoas. Some Stylosiniella here on the corner. And this is a weird unnamed Plesiastria coral that I've been growing for almost a year from a single polyp. So yeah, this is my brother's tank. This is one of the coolest reef tanks I've ever set up of my own, and you know, part of the success there is just keeping it simple with some smart devices, and honestly, keeping my hands out of it. This tank requires maybe an hour's worth of work once a month. Occasional scrub down, but otherwise it does really well, and it's just really nice to know that I can kind of program things on the fly when I need to. So yeah, I hope you like this tour of my brother's reef tank, or my reef tank at my brother's house, and I enjoy it very much. It's not the most impressive reef tank, but for as much work as goes into it, like the results and the success of this reef tank is really phenomenal. So hope you've enjoyed.